The ANC has been in charge for too long. What do they have to show for it? RDP houses and SASSA grants? A few connected millionaires involved in corrupt BEE deals? This is way less than what South Africans expected. It's certainly way less than what the Black Business Council in the built environment expected.
We've realized that people are saying 30 years into democracy, what is it that we've achieved? But when you check that some of the issues, we can no longer blame apartheid. From 1994, the black government was ushered in, and if we failed for the past 30 years, we only have ourselves to blame. The implementers of these acts and regulations, they are our brothers and sisters whom we have trust and have invested our confidence in them, believing that because they understand where they come from, they will act with speed and with emergency to make sure that the transformation goals, they are realized.
You know what? It's great to hear more people publicly admit the facts that many whisper behind closed doors. Well done to Danny and his council for finally speaking up. It's true that the people that have been in charge of all the taxes paid in this country since '94 are black. They are so-called brothers and sisters to all black people. And because of that, many assume that they would really be determined and committed to seeing true and genuine transformation in the lives of black people. That is from the oppression and exclusion they experienced under apartheid to opportunities, upliftment, and empowerment post-apartheid. Unfortunately, time and time again, the ANC has proven that they have no interest in positively transforming the lives of black South Africans or any South Africans for that matter, except those that they are connected to, of course. What we have come to know is the fact that being the same color as someone does not mean that that person has your best interests at heart. Just because they call themselves black liberators does not mean they're actually here to liberate you. If anything, many call themselves black liberators in order to imprint in your minds and hearts that they are forever owed a debt of gratitude for liberating you as a black person. As Masimene Mbeki mentioned, the ANC so-called liberators misunderstood the assignment. The assignment they were on was one of selflessness and patriotism, not one of being a celebrity or a demigod. They misunderstood it and saw the liberation movement as their door to fame and fortune. Nobody forced you to pick up arms against apartheid. No one signed a contract that if you do so, you'll be entitled to steal the spoils when apartheid ends. But at every turn, we see them engaging in corruption, racism, discrimination. They constantly oppress people of all races, black, white, Indian, and colored. They do not discriminate in that department. These ANC people will call themselves revolutionaries and struggle heroes to ensure that the class difference between them and the rest of the population is established and maintained. What is the value of this class difference? Well, to ensure that they can access the spoils without too many questions or disruptions.
Head of Policy Jeff Radebe says curbing corruption will require substantial political will. His admission follows a media dialogue at the party's headquarters today. Among its actions against state capture is reviewing cadre deployment and the over 200 party members that have presented themselves to the ANC's Integrity Commission.
The African National Congress needs to rid itself of corruption, says its head of policy, Jeff Radebe, as the 5,612-page state capture report implicates 200 plus of its members.
Individuals implicated in the Commission report must immediately take the initiative and present themselves to the Integrity Commission within 2 months. And this is in line with the resolution of the ANC's 54th National Conference in 2017, which resolved to demand that every cadre accused of or reported to be involved in corrupt practices accounts to the Integrity Commission immediately or faces disciplinary processes.
I mean, if I am a struggle hero, surely I deserve more than those who view me as a hero, right? Sadly, for decades, many allowed them to believe this lie by simply being quiet and not challenging them. So it's really refreshing to see people like the Business Council in the built environment finally speak out against these so-called liberators. Since many viewed the ANC as brothers and sisters, as fellow black people, as comrades, many could not believe that they would be betrayed by the ANC. When they saw it, some of them were too scared to say anything about it. Still, others hope that if they just kept quiet about it, they will be allowed in to taste a bit of the spoils. I'm sure you know some of those, right? The ANC and its babies give themselves lovely titles of all sorts, calling you comrades, but the truth remains they do not care about you and I. The ANC has been in charge for 30 years, and don't forget to include the EFF and the MK party in there. They were there when all of this was happening, were they not? These are people who act like they're like you, pretending that it's you and them against the ANC. They act like they have seen the light, but the truth is the apple does not fall far from the tree. EFF and MKP are simply the same as the ANC, except they are actually worse versions of the ANC. Floyd already said that the ANC is not an enemy.
There are parties that we categorize in the camp of contested opponents, not enemies. There's a difference between enemy forces and opponents. With an enemy, you don't engage. With an opponent, you can engage with a view that you can have a common perspective on some of the issues. And our characterization, we should state this, of the former liberation movement, the ANC, is that it remains a contested opponent, not an enemy force yet, despite its current ideological and political disposition and its current alliance with the enemy forces. That is our characterization of the former liberation movement, that the former liberation movement is a contested opponent despite its relationship and alliance with enemy forces.
Zuma already said he is still ANC, and the same can be said about the EFF, by the way. These three parties long to work together. It's a surprise that they have failed to achieve that, but I'm actually happy that they have failed. They were happy with the ANC until they were not happy. They supported the ANC until they didn't. Julius Malema had to be expelled. He didn't see the light all of a sudden. He didn't see the light of his own accord. He was expelled because he refused to follow instructions. If he wasn't expelled, he would very likely still be in the ANC to this very day. Never, ever forget that. Because they are all ANC, none of these three parties can be expected to execute any real transformation for South Africans. They call themselves communists, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but that means classless societies. Everybody being equal, does it not? Yet there is nothing equal in how they live and how the rest of South Africa lives. There's nothing classless about what they afford themselves versus what they afford the rest of South Africans. Instead of building dignified homes for all South Africans, we have Nkandla and we have MPs living in luxurious homes. Instead of building quality schools for all, they will take their children to quality private schools.
It is estimated that the hospital receives 20,000 new specimens a day. However, a concerned medical practitioner says the NHLS system is ailing.
So what's happening with our labs?
Things are not looking good with NHLS branches. As to oppose though, millions of South African lives are depending on their services. Let me make an example with our hospital chemical pathology department, which actually runs a blood test, which was actually suspended with SASSA due to not having, they're actually running without accreditation due to speculations of delayed specimens, specimens that have not been run within the correct time, analytes that are not correctly run, and negligence as well. You would find that a doctor cannot actually make a treatment or do surgery due to that forthcoming of results. So hence there's a delay, or you end up having patients that could actually fatally die due to that.
Tubes containing medical specimens are thrown in boxes and often get buried under the piles of other specimens. Some are placed on the floor in plastic bags. You will be forgiven for thinking that they are trash.
Instead of fixing clinics and hospitals, they get medical aid to protect themselves from low-standard medical services that they expect the citizens to sing and dance for. Instead of building accessible roads, the Comrades will buy cars built to access inaccessible roads. Instead of fixing traffic lights and ensuring that we have electricity for traffic to flow, they will install blue lights to protect themselves from the traffic that was caused by their inefficiencies. As if all of that is not enough, the whole deputy president had the audacity to do this. Indeed, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. I mean, how do you even justify that? It's not enough that he's paid millions in our taxes for doing close to nothing. It's not enough that the luxurious cars that he is chauffeured in were bought using our monies. It's not enough that instead of keeping the nation safe, free from crime and criminals, he gives himself so many bodyguards so that he is immune to the crime that ordinary citizens are subjected to. None of that is enough. He must still clearly disobey the rules of the road and further endanger and inconvenience the very people who are paying his salary. Yeah? I'm telling you, South Africans are not yet angry enough. If they understood all of this, they would have kicked the ANC out a long time ago, I tell you. Please share this video with all your friends, family, neighbors, and colleagues. More people need their eyes and minds open to the rubbish of the ANC before the 2026 elections. We need more people like this man over here.
This pub owner refused service to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Love to see it.
That man is not allowed to my pub. No law. I'm not physically hurting that man. Right. That's assault. I'm not bothering you. I am not bothering him. That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Get out of my pub.
Guys, stop being nice to politicians who are destroying you. They are the ones abusing citizens, depriving them of their basic rights, of environments and opportunities that many believed they would have post-apartheid. As they do all of this to the people of South Africa, they rush to blame the poor living standards of South Africans on apartheid.
The Eastern Cape, the second largest province in South Africa, and it is quite expansive, by the way. And the Premier was talking about it yesterday when we were interacting with Transnet. It is a huge province, second only to the Northern Cape. But this is the product, as Deputy Minister Holomisa continued to write, of the amalgamation of former homelands of Transkei and Ciskei, with some parts of the Cape Province, of the old South Africa, he says. The challenge that has, however, been facing this province, he continues to write, is that its infrastructure had never been properly integrated with that of the old South Africa and brought on par. Nor does the province have the budget to catch up on the backlogs and imbalances of the past.
I mean, just taking a look at this devastating report by the Auditor General paints a real picture of what's going on behind the scenes, right? The people who are in charge, the money that is being spent and lost. The Auditor General in her report tells us that 467 million rand in unauthorized expenditure took place in the Eastern Cape over the period under review. 2.7 billion rand in irregular expenditure and millions more in fruitless and wasteful expenditure. How is this possible, Professor Breakfast, in a province that is so desperately in need for service delivery in all sectors, from health to education to roads and transport.
Yet the Eastern Cape has significant challenges in realizing its potential. There is here in the Eastern Cape the legacy of apartheid, and you see it wherever you go.
Ja, ne? Apartheid, apartheid, apartheid. The evergreen scapegoat for the comrades. Without starting or running successful businesses, they have become millionaires even with the legacy of apartheid. Without being successful at their roles as public servants, they have become millionaires on the public's backs, even with the legacy of apartheid. But when we complain about the standard of living for the ordinary citizen, they blame the legacy of apartheid. So basically, you are poor because of the legacy of apartheid, and they are rich in spite of the legacy of apartheid.
It is important that we also make a thorough introspection on ourselves. And when I'm saying on ourselves as practitioners in the industry, on ourselves as contractors, on ourselves as the built environment professionals, on ourselves as material suppliers, to do an introspection to check if are we really doing justice to service delivery. Are we really doing justice to this industry? We can no longer afford fly-by-nights in this industry. We can no longer afford to have service providers who, after receiving the first payment, they run away to Dubai and all these European countries, forgetting that that money is for the project and it needs to be reinvested into the project. And when they come back, the project has come to a standstill because the workers, the suppliers have not been paid. We can no longer have a situation where a week after the road has been constructed and completed and handed over, there is a pothole on that road. Then you ask yourself, those who were given the responsibility to monitor the delivery, the design, when they sign off and say, we are satisfied that this project has been constructed in terms of the design, what happens to them? I think it is time that the professional bodies, they also up their sleeves in terms of making sure that those that are not doing good to this industry, they are scrapped off the roll.
Now you're talking. Now you're speaking the language that will get you hated, sir. Black people and getting the money. Look at Edwin Sodi. Look at Bomamkize. Loads of money that could have established them and several other people while creating jobs for many South African families. Instead, all that money gets squandered on foreign brands and luxuries that most white people in our country will never see. But let's just blame the legacy of apartheid. Bo Hamilton Ndlovu have caused so much destruction in this country. These tenderpreneurs who chow the money are a product of the ANC. The ANC created these people. This issue that this man is talking about is a serious problem. Our people are not taught to be frugal. No one wants to live on a budget. They don't want to accept that. I mean, when you start talking like this man is talking right now, you will be viewed as if you are self-hating. You'll be told to remember that there was once colonialism, slavery, and apartheid, and now is our time to eat. Now is our time to chow. Yes, sir. Those are some of the problems that we face as a nation.
We have various budget, infrastructure budget. Most departments and entities, they send that back a higher percentage of those budgets that were meant for service delivery. because most of them do not have the capacity and do not have the know-how in terms of implementing those projects.
Honestly though, how can we have people blaming apartheid when we have municipal officials and departmental heads that send their allocated budgets back to the government? This is not apartheid's fault. It's incompetence and it is laziness.
As BBCBE and our collaborators, we are making ourselves available to assist public entities, municipalities, and governments, departments, on how to execute these projects and make sure that the budget is exhausted, because the service delivery list is too long, and therefore we cannot afford to be sending the money back to Treasury. And we have our regulators who also have to assist in making sure that these public entities, they are capacitated, and not just capacitated, but properly capacitated. So it is time that we fix the industry in both public and private sector. And as the BBCBE, we are ready to champion that process.
Briberies, briberies, briberies. Our problems are deeper than this, Papa. And involving you in our process is asking for trouble in any case. I'm sorry. The government employees simply need to be moral, competent, and hardworking. Why should you and your organization come in to do what? To help managers to manage, to help accountants to be accountants, to help inspectors to do the inspections. The accountants, the inspectors, the managers are supposed to be knowing how to do their jobs in the first place. How did they get their jobs if you and your organization have to come in there to help? They need to tell us how they got those jobs. All the incompetent people need to lose their jobs. Our taxes should be used to employ people that know what to do. Our money gets stolen because these people don't know what they're doing and are simply not there to work in the first place, just to get the salary and enjoy their life. We need a Doge-like organization, a Department of Government Efficiency kind of cleansing of our state-owned entities, municipalities, and all. Fumigate everything and take out all the vermin from our state organs. The ANC cadres that are incompetent, holding positions that they can't perform in, need to be flushed out. Straight and simple. No need for your organization, sir, but we thank you for the offer and we thank you for speaking up, though. I hope that you know that you've now graduated to becoming a clever black, and some of your brothers will not reach out for your help anymore unless you are willing to facilitate the looting of funds, which I hope you are not. Anyway, that's it for today. Please subscribe, like, and share this video with other citizens. If you'd like to support the work that we do, please donate to our account, join our channel membership or the website membership, and you can also buy our t-shirt. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned, and until next time, beware of the comrades.